talk about deep thinkers, we usually imagine philosophers in togas, staring into the sky and asking questions that nobody else wants to ask. But deep thinking isn't just something for ancient philosophers. It's something we desperately need today, maybe more than at any other time in history. Because here's the reality. We are drowning in information. Science has given us the tools to explore the universe. Politics fills our screens with 24-hour debates. Culture throws up new trends, new art, new distractions every single second. And yet, in this vast ocean of knowledge, misinformation floats just as easily as truth. Lies travel faster than facts. Shallow clicks outnumber deep conversations. That's why philosophy still matters. Socrates might not have had TikTok, but he had a habit of asking the most powerful question in human history. Why? Why do you believe that? Why should I trust this? And why is this true? And the more uncomfortable the answer, the more important the question became. And this approach has never been more relevant than it is today. Critical thinking starts with the courage to pause and ask, is this true? Or do I just want it to be true? Science takes that same spirit and gives it experiments. It doesn't just accept answers. It tests them, challenges them, breaks them apart. Every medical breakthrough, every technological leap started with someone daring to doubt the obvious. That's how we move from bloodletting to vaccines, from candlelight to electricity, from wondering about the stars to walking on the moon. But what happens when people stop thinking deeply? Look at politics. Arguments turn into echo chambers, opponents into enemies, nuance disappears. Polarization hardens into an us versus them battle, where compromise feels like defeat. Complexity gets crushed into slogans, and suddenly the loudest voice wins instead of the wisest. Deep thinking is the antidote. It doesn't pick sides. It asks, what's the evidence? Whose voices are missing? And hardest of all, could I be wrong? Or even, could we both be right? This isn't just about politics, however. It's personal. I once got into a heated debate with a friend over whether social media does more harm than good. On the surface, we were arguing about apps and screen time, but neither of us was actually listening or trading reasons. We were just trying to win. Sound familiar? That's the same pattern you see online every day on topics such as climate change, human rights, or who should run the country. Deep thinking means slowing down long enough to really hear what's underneath the argument, not just the volume. Did you know that here in the UK, more than a third of internet users are unaware that online content may be false or biased, according to new Ofcom research, with only about 5% of UK adults saying that they use a dedicated fact-checking tool or website. And across the Atlantic, research from Stanford University found that 82% of students could not distinguish between a news story and sponsored content. These numbers don't just highlight a digital problem. They expose a thinking problem. When information becomes endless, attention becomes shallow and truth becomes optional. The statistics remind us that critical thinking is not an academic luxury. It's a survival skill for modern democracy. And art and culture are no less affected. The memes we share, the music we stream, the films we binge are all shaped by the same need. Especially now, when artificial intelligence can generate paintings and novels, and even compose symphonies. But that only makes our role clearer. Machines can generate, but only humans can interpret. Only humans can ask, what does this mean? Why does this matter? And who benefits if I believe this? So philosophy, science, politics and culture, they aren't separate boxes. They're threads of the same rope, and the thing that ties them together is critical thinking. That mix of curiosity, doubt, and imagination that forces us to slow down and dig deeper when everything around us tempts us to skim the surface and scroll faster. So, what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is the discipline of analysing and evaluating information with clarity, precision, and fairness. It means going beyond first impressions or emotional reactions to weigh evidence, consider alternative viewpoints, and draw conclusions that stand up to reason. At its core, it's about metacognition, thinking about how we think, and being aware of the biases, shortcuts, and assumptions that may shape our understanding. It doesn't ask us to be skeptical of everything, but to be thoughtful about anything. In a world of instant opinions and algorithms, critical thinking is what separates reflection from reaction. Being a deep thinker doesn't mean having all the answers. It means refusing to settle for shallow ones. It means having the humility to admit you're wrong, the curiosity to ask better questions, and the courage to stand by the truth, even when it's unpopular. It's slower, yes. It's harder, yes. But it's the only way we avoid being manipulated by fake news or replaced by algorithms or divided by politics. The irony, of course, is not lost on me. I am standing here delivering a speech in the age of AI, when even these very words could have been drafted by a machine. But perhaps that's the point. If machines can produce, then our job as humans is to think. To take what's given to us and go deeper. Deeper than any computer ever could. So the challenge for us all isn't whether we can keep up with the flood of information. It's whether we can slow down long enough to think critically about it. Whether we choose shallow clicks or deep thinking may decide not just who we are as individuals, but who we become as a society. And I think that choice, our choice, is the most powerful thing we still own. Because the future won't be built by shallow clicks. It will be built by deep thinkers. Thank you.